What's going on, everybody? On this episode of the Jiu-Jitsu Therapist podcast, I am joined by the Ultimate Fighter 24 participant and UFC Flyweight Matt Schnell. We talk about his jiu-jitsu journey, his MMA journey, kind of what got him into fighting, what it was like being the Ultimate Fighter, his plans for the future, and just everything that he's got going on, and his recent fight that he just had. And I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, man. Matt's an awesome guy and plenty of great information, and I hope you all enjoy. Dude, first of all, man, congrats on the Ultimate Fighter, man. That was awesome. I think you had a fucking awesome performance, man.
Thanks a lot. Obviously, we would have liked to had a better performance, but I mean, I'm not too heartbroken about the way things went. I fought hard, so
yeah, man. You it was kind of funny, man. Like I guess your was it your first or second fight? The guy was a black belt.
Yeah.
And you got him in triangle?
Yes, sir.
Is that kind of your go-to from your back? I mean, it seemed like you had pretty aggressive game from your back.
It's funny because when I started, that was all I learned how to do was to do jiu-jitsu off my back. So it's kind of been a part of my game my entire career. But my triangle's always been my best submission. And if you look back at my record, I've never finished a triangle in a fight. So that's the only triangle I've ever finished in a fight yet. In the gym, it's my go-to for sure.
That's awesome.
But I've never finished one in a fight. So.
What rank are you at jiu-jitsu?
I'm a purple belt.
Purple. How long have you been training that? As long as you've been doing MMA?
As long as I've been doing MMA. I'm 8 years.
8 years. Awesome.
My purple belt in 2012.
Awesome.
So I've been a purple belt for 4 years.
Do you compete at all in jiu-jitsu, or you just?
I competed. I competed a couple. I competed a couple months back in St. Louis, Missouri, at the smallest little dirt tournament you've ever seen. It was literally in a church gymnasium. It was that was the last time I competed in jiu-jitsu. But when I started, that's all I did.
Right.
When I was a white belt and even a young blue belt, I competed quite a bit, and I always did well. But kind of got out of the circuit when I started really fighting. Yeah.
When did you start? When was your first amateur fight?
2009.
2009. So here's a funny story, and you'll probably get this.
2009.
So you were like on a show on MTV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was kind of, what was it, 2009 or when was that around? Or it's a few years back.
We filmed the first episode in 2010.
Okay.
And then we filmed the rest of it in 2011.
Okay. Yeah, and it was funny because they're really MMA still wasn't real huge. And it was kind of funny to see that on MTV. That's what kind of caught me. Do you feel like that maybe helped your career or hurt your career at all to be on a reality show like that initially?
Well, absolutely. It was very beneficial. My career has always been it's always been a little better because of that show. I mean, the exposure I got from that, you can't buy that type of exposure. I still have a bigger fan base and a bigger following than 90% of the flyweights in the UFC, and I just got into the UFC. So
right.
Just think about the magnitude of being in front of 2 to 3 million viewers every week. I mean, it was huge for sure.
How did it change your personal life at that point, man? Did it kind of make a difference?
Oh my God! I mean, have you ever been kind of famous?
No. I've not.
Well, I have, and it was crazy. It was a crazy time. It was a lot of fun.
Well, how do you think? I mean, so did you get more opportunities as far as fighting different shows, or?
I wouldn't say that. It painted a big target on my back too. I can tell you this: I was getting everybody's best from the very beginning because I was somewhat of a name. So every time I fought somebody, I was the biggest fight of their life. And, I'm thankful for that, too, because it was some trying times there at the beginning of my career. I don't know if I was necessarily ready for it. But what were you going to say?
No, I kind of figured that, I mean, it kind of did put, you were a name. People knew who you were. Even at smaller shows, I mean, people kind of knew who you were probably.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, especially there at the beginning of it, when it had just gotten off TV, you know, I think looking back, if I could do things over again, I would have attacked it sooner, and I would have tried to book my first professional fight like right as the first, you know, as the last episode was wrapping. So I was at the peak of my popularity because I didn't fight. I took an 11-month layoff before I made my professional debut because of the show and everything. So I think that was a mistake. But I mean, no, it was great. The exposure it got me, it made me a name. I made more money when I made my debut, and my entire professional career, I always made more money than the rest of everybody else because of the show. You know, it made me more valuable.
Yeah, I know the lighter weight classes don't really get as much attention, but man, it was honestly I kind of started watching. I don't really have cable, so I kind of watched on the back end. I watched the episodes after, and it was, man, all the fights were awesome. I mean, really, like, I just love watching the little guys get after it. I mean, you guys are gas tank for days.
Yeah, well, I think it's, you know, smaller guys are more built to scrap and be entertaining, which is, it's strange that there's not a bigger following in mainstream MMA because honestly, I mean, little guys are fun to watch, but I don't know. I think it takes a trained eye to understand, and the common fan just likes to see people throw bolos. So the bigger weight classes where the guys are, you know, gasping for air and throwing big punches one at a time, that's what people want to see.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the smaller weight classes are more technical. I mean, you have to be because, I mean, if you leave any kind of openings, you know, I mean, it's just you can get in a bad position. Somebody can hold you there for sure. I mean,
well, you know, they talk about pound for pound who the best fighter in the world is.
Right.
The best fighters in the world have to be the smallest guys. I mean, technically, if you took a Demetrius Johnson and gave him the dimensions of a 205er and made him that, and he still fought like Demetrius Johnson, he would have no competition, you know?
Right.
So I think the best fighters are the smaller guys. And it's, you know, it's close between the 45, 35, and 25 because they're all around the same athletic build, same speed, same everything. You know, the speed changes a little bit, but there's some 45ers who, if they were 25ers, could do well too. So I think those three, between those three weight classes, those are where the best guys are.
Do you feel like there's like less margin of it? Like, because I've kind of heard, you know, like people talk like if you're a bigger guy, you know, you have more power in your shots. You feel like there's like more margin for error in the smaller divisions, or you feel like, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I can attest to that. I just fought at 35 and I got my face knocked off, you know? And I think shots that I would have absorbed perfectly fine at 25, they just pushed through me a little more at 35. And I was landing big punches.
Right.
I was landing big shots that normally would hurt somebody at 25 as well. So being bigger, it does all play, but skill matters too. And
is 25 where you want to stay, do you think? Is that
for sure?
Okay.
Sure.
How? So you got that fight on Finale? It was late notice, correct?
Yeah, I took that 7 days.
Okay. What were you doing in the meantime? Were you training? Were you?
Yeah, of course. I stay training. I'm always training. So
what's your weight outside of camp or outside of the fights?
When I took the fight, I was like 145. So I was like, I'm gonna put 10 pounds back. But the week of the fight, I was real worried, and I was trying to make weight anyways, and I wasn't able to eat much. Not that it affected anything because I felt great in there, but I did lose a lot of weight the week of the fight because I only hydrated back to like 41.
Okay.
So that just kind of tells you where I was at, but felt great. You know, everything was good. I really felt like felt confident too, and as the fight went on, I got more confident. It wasn't until the kick landed that hurt me that you know, I didn't even remember that. I still felt confident. So
right.
It was a strange thing. It was a strange fight, and unfortunate the way it played out. It was a winnable fight, but you know, it wasn't my night.
how do you recover from that? Like, what's like the process you go through if, after a loss like that? What do you, versus a win? Like, how do you try to rebound? What do you look at? Is there a period of time where you just kind of like say, hell with anything, I just want to be alone? Or
I mean, you gotta hurt about it for a little bit. I mean, this matters to me.
Absolutely.
Even though I took it on short notice, I definitely didn't go in there to lose, and I'll fight my heart out every single time I step out there. It's just not in me to go out there and lay down. But some people I think are different, and some people take it differently. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but there were people after they had lost coming in the back and they were taking selfies and trying to look all cute and stuff. And I'm just like, man, what are you thinking? I'm about to go on to fight and I just watch this person lose. And I'm like, they're pretty much not even worried about it, not even sweating it, like as if they knew that it could happen. And we all know,
right?
We all know it can happen. But man, I shed tears when I lose, even on a week's notice, a weight class up. It hurts because I'm a winner, and you just have to deal with it. And over time, it gets better, and you just get back in the gym and get back to work. But it's a process,
right?
And I'm just right now. I've been back to the gym. I've trained a little bit.
Are you on any precautions right now since the loss? Like no contact?
Yeah, no contact. But I mean, I can go when I can drill. I don't even like to punch on stuff when I've had my brain rattled because you're still jarring yourself. But I will grapple a little bit and do some drills.
Have you been hurt like that before, like in a fight, or is that the first time?
Yeah, I've been hurt before.
Yeah. Do you feel like it takes you a little while to kind of get sharp again, to feel kind of sharp, or?
Heck no. I could get, dude. I'm good to go right now. I'll whip somebody up right now. I feel great.
Yeah.
But it is my brain, and I've only got one, and brains don't heal, and the more damage you take, the more susceptible you are. So
right.
You just got to focus on that stuff, and I know I've got to hone in, and I got to get better defensively, and I've got to do things better. But I tell you what, I felt great in the fight, and honestly, like if you run it back, I don't think the guy could have hit me with a handful of rocks. He flipped up a kick and clipped me and hurt me. But I felt fast, and I felt like he was loading up, and he was pretty slow.
Right.
He hit me with. I think he jabbed me once. He got me with a good stiff jab, but I mean, I felt great out there, and all I can think about it is what's next, because
okay.
I just get back in there and fight again. But I know I'm going to have great performances in the future, and it is what it is. I'm moving forward.
What's kind of your plan as far as like moving forward now? Are you looking to fight, a couple months down the road?
Yeah, as soon as I get medically cleared,
okay,
I'll get back in the gym and get into a training camp, and we'll get into the UFC matchmakers' ears and try and make something happen.
Is there anybody you're looking for? Is there any kind of like? I'm
in no position to look for anybody. I'm going to take whoever they give me.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where the weight class is so shallow where there are no easy fights in this weight class. It's nothing but tough fights. So, why not fight somebody tough? And I think I can beat any of these guys.
Yeah.
And that might sound crazy since I'm coming off of a loss, but I'm as confident as I've ever been, and I always know what's possible.
Right.
I just know what I'm capable of too.
Well,
and I think that anybody in the flyweight division can get whipped.
You got to have that mentality, though, man. Like, I mean, you can't, like you said, it can't. Like you said, I'm a winner. Like you can't go out there thinking you're going to lose. You're already. I think being mentally there is so much of it. I mean,
and what's funny is I don't think any of us really are mentally there. We all just tell ourselves things to feel better. And it how based on how you perform is how it's going to go for you.
Right. Did you feel like you had like everybody talks about the octagon jitters and stuff? Do you feel nervous about?
Honestly, the whole week was crazy nerve-wracking. I really had trouble the whole week. Was very, very nervous all week. But the day of, everything honed in. once I got in that locker room, I felt amazing. I made that walk like I was supposed to.
Right.
You know, like I'd been born to make that walk. I had made it so many times in my mind. I'm telling you, no jitters. I felt great. I felt amazing. Everything felt perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks, you know, because and that's typically how it happens. You know, I take this seriously, so I'm always training hard. So I can tell myself like I'm in shape. I can tell myself, whatever. If you get tired, you know you can fight tired.
Right.
And you know, you can get out there. I felt great. Everything was amazing. Yeah. It was memorable. And my freaking walkout song banged.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
What do you feel like? How was the process getting into the Ultimate Fighter? I mean, were you confident you were going to get in? I mean, I know there's a selection process.
They approached me.
Okay.
You know, they approached me, so there was never any tryouts. We went and we showed out. It was nerve wracking there for a time because when we went there were 32 of us, and they were only picking 16.
Right.
So we were like, holy crap! So half of these people are not going to be here. But you know, in the end, they picked me, and I think I was a shoo-in.
Right.
So,
well,
it was. I did sweat it though. Don't get me wrong. I had nights where I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get this, blah blah blah. But I got it. Everything worked.
But
out.
you're Legacy FC champion. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I mean, interim.
Legacy.
Who was the champion at the time? Was
Damasio Page.
Right.
Me and Damasio were supposed to fight for the title.
Right.
And Damasio got injured. Damasio got injured. He got headbutt in the testicles. And one of his testicles, this is a true story. One of his testicles like swole up.
Oh my God!
And he had to get surgery. And the guy who did it was also on the show, and his name was Charlie Alanese.
Yes,
and he's the one who headbutt.
He was he was a little off, wasn't he? A little different.
No comment. I don't want that guy to come kill my family.
Oh, really? Do I want to say anything?
No, I'm just kidding. He was actually a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But he did a poor job with the cameras and stuff.
Right. Do you feel like that? I mean, yeah, you've probably had some experience around that stuff. Did some people, they kind of act weird around the cameras or like not themselves?
Well, everybody kind of adjusted, but still, like, I don't know. Some people just did it better than others. Some people were really, really good at it, like off bat.
Yeah. Do you feel like being in the house? I mean, it was like is there certain? I know there was a guy from your team from ATT. Is that correct? That was on there with you.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah. How did y'all kind of initially kind of stick together or like what?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course. We were on the same team too, so it all worked out. I thought initially that they were going to make us fight each other because we were standing there. Me and him were some of the last guys. I think I got picked third or something. And I looked at him. I was like, bro, they're going to make us fight each other. Watch. And we really were very close to fighting each other first round. He was seated 10th, and I was seated 6th. And I fought number 11, and he fought number 7. So we were really just one off from fighting each other.
How did they? I don't know. How did they go about the seeding process? I mean,
man, it was them sitting around they were probably drinking in a boardroom.
Yeah.
Throwing darts or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were like, Schnell, number 6.
Who was the guy? I mean, when you all got in the house, like, was there anybody you looked at? Like, I mean, I know everybody's going to be a tough fight, but was there any? I mean, Tim Elliott had been in the UFC before. Was he kind of the guy everybody was?
I marked Tim Elliott as the guy to beat early on.
Yeah.
When I saw him at the initial thing, I was like, oh shit, this is the guy. He's going to be the one that I've got to beat. And I was right.
yeah, he was tough, man. Him and Mighty Mouse, man, had a freaking war. Yeah, that was amazing. It's just fun. Like
I thought he was going to darce him. They came out and they let me sit front row. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
UFC treated me really well. I know people have had problems with them in the past, but I think those guys. I've fought for Legacy was a great organization and they treated me like a champion. Right, I was the champion, but the UFC they did awesome. I mean, I think they took care of everything. Everything was great.
How was it being in the house? I mean, was it 6 weeks?
It was cool, man. But I mean, after a while, it feels like being in a really fancy jail. You know, really? You can't see women, you can't talk to your girl, you can't. You know, it was fun for sure. And it was something that, I mean, I'll talk about it forever, I'm sure.
Right. How was it? Like, do you think they did a good job portraying everybody, or the cameras?
Yeah, but so much went on. There was so much fun stuff that happened that they just didn't get to see, and that's but that's what it is. We knew what the show was. Every time there was drama, it did get shown though.
Right, because that gets rated
every single time, no matter when it took place, because some of that stuff took place way before, and they used they always do stuff like that. So
right.
The drama got used, and we knew that too.
You guys knew coming in. Was it what was it like just training with all these different guys that, I mean, you probably never had an opportunity to train with before? What was it like? The coaches, and I mean,
it was much the same. Like, I trained with high level guys
right
every freaking day of my life, so much the same to me.
Yeah,
I knew I belonged. I honestly. There's a lot of talent there and a lot of good guys, and some guys that are going to be the future of the sport. And I tell you what, I'm right there. I can win. I think I can beat any of these guys.
Yeah. Did you are you originally from Louisiana? Is that where they filmed that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Freeport.
So where did you train when you were down there?
Place called Elite Combat Academy.
Okay.
With a man named Brent Mason, and I also cross-trained with Donnie Aaron at Karate Mafia.
Okay.
And his girl's Andrea Lee. You know who Andrea Lee is?
I don't know if I know that name.
That's good that you don't, because most guys are weirdos and they know all the girl fighters.
Oh, right. I'm married, so it's all right. I'm married with a kid. I'm an old fart dude. I'm past my prime. I'm 33.
Nice. That's not past your prime.
No, I mean, I got a kid and stuff, so it's like,
I'm 26, okay? In the UFC, they didn't even say that I'm 26. They said, and he turns 27 in January.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're in your prime, really. I mean, you've got, 13 fights under your belt and 26? That's some good experience right there, man. Because you got
13 pro fights, 13 amateur fights.
Right.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of experience.
A lot of fights. Yeah, I mean, and we fought kickboxing, we fought boxing.
Shit, you've done it all.
Crap.
Yeah.
I wish I would have wrestled.
What made you? What kind of made you switch to ATT? What was the
time? I needed partners. I needed guys to push me. I needed to prove to myself that I could compete at that level. So in order to prove that to yourself, you got to go find you some guys that have done it. So I went to American Top Team. There were guys like Brad Pickett.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of training with John Lineker since being here quite a bit, and ONE FC champ Adriano Moraes. He's the 25 champ for ONE FC. He's a G. So I just came out here and I found guys that were world class, and I, kind of made myself part of the team, and I'm a big part of it out here now. And these guys are awesome. They're all doing great. We're all doing really well. So I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better team of small guys on the planet. And you don't know a lot of these guys, but now you're seeing guys like me and Jamie Alvarez. We're coming out a little bit, and Jamie's amazing. He's going to have a great career too. I mean, we've got a crew of guys here. Kyoji Horiguchi, he's number 3 in the world.
Yeah, he's got a fight coming up, I think, right?
Just beat Ali Bagutino.
Okay, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's right. I thought he had a fight. Yeah, he fought Mighty Mouse too.
Fought Mighty Mouse too, and he's really good. He's gonna do really well. He's got a great career ahead too. And,
super young guy as well, I think.
Yeah, my age.
Yeah,
a little younger maybe.
You're young, man. You guys. I wish I would have. I didn't start training jiu-jitsu until I was 25. And it was kind of like on a whim, really. I always, my dad would bring home the video cassettes of like UFCs with Hoist Gracie and stuff. And we had some local fights out here in Louisville called Caged Inferno. And I saw a couple of these guys. Do you know, like Taz Ferguson? He was on the Ultimate Fighter quite a few years back. He's a guy actually trained with me originally. Him and his brother made it on the Ultimate Fighter. And, we got some guys that have kind of fought, made it a little bit of ways, but
there was a 25 from around those parts, right?
Yeah. Taz Ferguson. He was. He hasn't fought him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
think he fought at 35, huh?
Maybe.
Small guy. He was
Small
on one of the Ultimate Fighters.
Right. I remember, man, I was a white belt, and he was just like tiny dude, and he just dumped me on my head, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, how's that? I mean, that's where technique comes in, man. He had a really fucking huge right hand. I think that's why he got him in the house, because they had fights to get in the house, and he had to just hit this guy with the right hand.
He doesn't fight anymore?
He hasn't fought in a while, man. He trains out in Louisville at another place, not my gym. We used to train together at this place called Highlander years ago.
Highlander
Martial Arts?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about that?
No, I don't, but I love the name.
There's one, like the guy that owned it, Mike Yanez, he is now in Tampa, I think.
Really?
I think so. He's in Tampa.
Coral Springs.
So, yeah. Matt, I was going to ask you, man, have you, as far as like injuries go, have you dealt with some major injuries in the past?
I've really been injury-free for the most part, knock on glass.
What's your, do you have a certain, training regimen you follow? Like, do you do stuff outside of, grappling and, boxing, all that stuff? Do you do stuff like maintenance work?
Not as much as I should. I know it's big. Like physical therapy, obviously you're a physical therapist.
Right.
You sell me on it for days. I should do more, but I feel like I have a good understanding of my body, and I always get warm, and I train. I really don't follow much of. I get on schedule out here, and I do my work, but no, I should do more physical therapy for sure.
Do you do any kind of weightlifting or complementary type work for your body?
We have a conditioning program out here. I do it once or twice a week, but mostly I keep it sports specific. Okay. I'm big on I'm big on technique and just constantly perfecting the craft and getting better offensively, defensively, and I think the best way to do that is to actually do it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I don't spar all the time, but we do a lot of drilling and a lot of live contact drills, slipping punches, moving. So
what would you say your if you're getting ready for a fight, what's your workout schedule look like? I mean, how many days a week? How many times a day?
I'll do 5 days a week, twice a day at least. And then on Saturday it's usually one, and maybe throughout that week I'll also take a day off depending on how I feel. I try and listen to my body, and if I'm tired, or honestly if I just don't feel like doing it, I won't. Because I feel like I'm a pretty strong-willed guy,
right?
And I'll bite down and go in there and do it for the most part. But if I'm really not feeling it, then I'm not going to get anything out of it. So I just kind of play it by ear, and we have a schedule. Dean Thomas is one of our head coaches out here, and he makes up our schedules, and so he'll have stuff for us to do throughout the day, and he understands based on age.
Sure,
he knows us pretty well, so he'll stack our workload accordingly. And some weeks he'll come in and look at me, and he'll be like, "Hey man, once a day this week only, just train once."
What do you think he looks at? I mean, what's he seeing? Does he look tired or?
Yeah, he looked tired. These guys have been at it for a long time, so they can look at a fighter and understand when he's kind of hitting that overtraining period. And peaking is something that's very important. And honestly, I don't know as much about that anymore because I really felt great this last week, conditioning wise, everything. I felt really good. So I think it is possible. As you get better and you can really gauge your output and your economy, how hard you're working, you can get yourself into a state where you're constantly ready.
Right.
That's where I hope to be when I'm when I hit my 30s and early 30s and stuff. I don't want to have to work as hard as I'm working right now. I want to kind of always be in a state of good shape. And it comes with just doing it longer, I feel like.
Right.
But I felt great in there. Like I said, I know I lost, but I really felt good.
Well, Matt, what do you think went wrong? I mean, do you think there's anything you could have done differently honestly.
I think I get this. I have this mentality of when I get hurt, I'm like, F you. I like try and come back, and I need to just start to circle things off and recover, and not just dive back into things. You know, if I shake it off, recover, get my bearings back about me, I probably don't make the same mistakes.
Okay.
I think I was hurt, and I didn't allow myself to get unhurt before I jump back into it.
Right. When you do train, though, like, are you do you like train for a specific fighter? Because they say some fighters game plan, like, you know, this guy's a wrestler, so you're gonna work takedown defense, whatever. When you train, do you usually train for a specific fighter, or like you'll ramp up, you know, the boxing or ramp up the jiu-jitsu, or do you do that specifically?
When you have time to put in a camp like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, for instance, we fought a guy with a great left-handed guillotine. He, you know, had a great guillotine. He had like 6 finishes by guillotine. He had guillotined me before. So this guy, we knew, okay, this guy, he's got a good guillotine. And the reason it's so good is because it's left-handed. So we kind of integrated that into the camp. But other than that, it was business as usual. It's hard to go into a fight not thinking you're better than somebody. So we always focus on what we're good at. And, you know, if he's got a special submission or areas that he's good, then we'll put in extra time there. Like if I was to fight a Juicier Formiga, I would be like, okay, let's put somebody on my back. Like we've got jiu-jitsu black belts in here that are really good. Let's get these guys on my back and let's get to fighting them off. And we would do that throughout the whole camp. So that's an example. But like I would also go in there being like, okay, but I'm faster than this guy. I'm longer than this guy. I'm going to hit him with hard punches. You know, and we try to game plan in a positive direction, not to be too fearful of what they're capable of, but also understanding what I'm capable of and where I'm going to capitalize.
So what do you do as far as like now, like your career going forward? Like, you know, so you kind of just leave that legacy title behind, and if you're kind of with the UFC now, you're just kind of moving on that direction. Is that kind of the plan? Yeah,
that title's now vacant.
Okay,
and it's a new title actually. LFA. So actually the promotion I'm the official legacy. Well, shoot, I guess me and Damasio. That's whack. We should have fought that out.
Yeah. So it's what was it, RFA and Legacy? Is that what it is? They combine those. They have a ton of guys come up from that promotion. Like tons.
Oh
man.
yeah,
it's like
huge. It's huge.
Are they based out of are they based out of anywhere particularly? Is it
It's where Legacy's based out of.
Where's that? I'm sorry.
Suarez is RFA.
Okay. Yeah, where's Legacy based out of?
Houston.
Okay. Yeah, because I know. I mean, there's some that are, you know, like there's a guy I did a tournament against. I did the Master Worlds, and then like the next weekend, he was from like somewhere in Florida. Robert Turnquest is his name. He was like fighting. I was like, holy shit! I got whooped my ass though. He was tough. Yeah. He triangled me in like 2 minutes. I was like, God damn it. That's tough, man. Are you doing any like big tournaments like that? Like any big IBJJF tournaments?
No. I did a bunch of like little Louisiana tournaments, and I went all over. Went and competed in Oklahoma and Texas, and did some tournaments here and there, but nothing big. I don't think I ever did an IBJJF. Yeah,
first one I did was the Master Worlds, which is like one of the biggest. And I was like, it was like 3 days. I mean, you see all these crazy, you see like, you know, freaking just everybody, Vinny Magalhaes walking around, you know, just the crazy, like, you know, Salo Ibero, Shanji, like all, I mean, you're like, holy shit, man. Just like these guys just walking around. Andre Galvao walking around. You're like, you know, me being a jiu-jitsu nerd, I just like freak out just watching people. And it's the same thing. I went actually to, I've been to a couple of UFCs. Like I went to, I think the very first UFC I went to was Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture 3. I was like in Vegas in 06. Yeah, so I've been a freaking nerd about like MMA and stuff just since forever. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's fun, dude. Just watching guys get out there. I know how nervous I've gotten, like even just going to a tournament. You know, and I know I'm not getting punched or kicked. And like, you know, shit, I get nervous as hell. I can't imagine, man, just like the build up. That's probably the worst part.
How many times does grandma come to a jiu-jitsu tournament and watch you get your face beat in?
Man. How is that for your family, dude? I mean, like, are they...
My mom loves it. I mean, my dad hates it. My dad hates it. He doesn't like it anymore. He doesn't like when I lose. It's okay when I win.
Yeah, you're his kid, man. It's rough.
But my mama loves it, and she's just happy that I'm giving this thing a shot. And
okay.
My dad just worries about my brain.
Right.
He's just like, you're smart, you don't have to.
What, Matt, what made you kind of like, was there anything like when you were in school that you kind of were interested in, or is this just kind of something that popped up?
I was really bad at school. That was the main thing.
That's kind of what do you mean bad? Like just not interested or?
Not interested at all. Like I actually always did well in tests because I would sit in class and I'd pay attention and I was quiet for the most part, but I didn't do homework. So that's where I always went wrong.
Okay.
And to this day, I still don't think that I would do my homework because I'm the guy that the UFC's like scrambling last minute to get my paperwork because I haven't done it yet.
Oh my God.
I'm still that guy.
Yeah.
So
that's all right. It's the way it's worked for you, man.
Yeah.
Well, what made you like decide that you want to? Did you get like any altercations as a kid? Is that what kind of? I mean,
I fought my whole life. It seemed like coming up. When I got a little older, I got smarter because I was small.
Yeah.
But I was still a scrappy little guy. I played football, played sports, and really what pushed me into MMA was just because I wanted to keep competing. I played football, I ran track, and after high school, I was just like, well, what next? Track season's over. I just graduated. No colleges were beating down my doors. I was 5'6", 112 pounds. So
yeah.
I just started. I just walked into a gym, started training, and.
Did you feel like, did you feel like, man, I'm good at this or I'm excelling, or was there anything that told you that you could?
Right away, I felt like I kind of had an edge over most people. Like I felt like I was scrappy, and it seemed like I picked it up fast. So it was really grappling that got me into it because I was so bad on my feet. It was embarrassing. I didn't strike for probably the first year that I trained. I only grappled. And
so
then I started training to fight. Yeah, started striking too. But it was a slow process. I could always throw a really hard right hand, but I could grapple pretty well. I came up grappling like not really, but I would wrestle my brother and my dad and my uncles all the time. We just kind of scrap around, so it kind of came natural to me.
Yeah. How long after training did you take your first fight?
I trained like a year and a couple months. My first instructor, like I think he was really hard on me because I think he liked me. He thought I was capable. So he didn't let me fight until like a year in. But then once I started fighting, I realized how far ahead of everybody I was because I trained for a year. So it was interesting how it worked out. My amateur career was fun.
What do you think was the difference? Like, what do you feel like you just had more time, put more time in? You were more like crisp, and just your all around game was better.
I think I was mean, and I was physical for the weight. Even at 35, as an amateur, I was really physical, and I could throw a big bombing right hand, and I competed well. So when it came to time to compete, I would land that right hand, I would get it on the ground, I'd submit guys. I felt like I was just kind of ahead physically, but I'd also trained, and I had tools to finish with. I could choke you, or I could hit you with a big right hand. And I see a lot of guys even still today. You watch amateur fights, and these guys, neither one of them can hurt each other. Like, what are they doing in there?
Right.
That was never an issue with me. I could always end it somehow.
I mean, you always went out to finish. You weren't trying to points, really.
Right. And it's still the same. I still have it. I can't do anything else.
Yeah. Well, what's your plan? Like, what's your plan for the future? I mean, like, what do you see yourself doing in a year?
I think I'm going to win 3 fights in a row. I'll be 3-1 in the UFC in a year.
All right. Where do you think that puts you? Title contention?
Probably in the top 15, I would imagine, in such a shallow class.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I could get a top 15 guy for my first fight. That's how shallow the weight class is. That's what I mean. My next fight could be against a top 15 guy. And honestly, I welcome it. I think I can beat anybody.
Is there any style of fighter you prefer? I mean, is there any you feel like you do well against any certain type of?
I think I do well against a Rob Font type. A guy that's similar to me. That's more of a striker. Like Rob wasn't going to come in and grind me, even though he took me down.
Right.
He wasn't trying to hold me down. He was trying to move into a position and sub me, or we were going to strike some more. So that's the type of guy that I'll probably do well against. Wrestlers are a little more difficult of a matchup. I have to tighten up a little bit, and I can't let my strikes go as much. But somebody striker who's willing to trade and exchange, like that's somebody I'm always going to do well against. So.
Do you feel like when you fought Rob, you feel like he was do you feel real strong to you at all? I mean, was the weight class that big of a difference?
He was big. I mean, he was big. He weighed 20 pounds more than me.
Yeah.
He was that much bigger. Like I said, I hydrated to 41. I think he hydrated to 62.
Oh, wow.
We stepped on the scale at the same time.
He just looked. Were you all about the same height?
Yeah, same height, similar dimensions, but he was just big.
Just bigger frame.
And he was just big. He was really big. He felt really big.
Yeah. Do you feel so you felt pretty strong to you as well? Like you had a hard time kind of moving him if you needed to?
I can't really. We didn't clinch up much. He had an easy time moving me around.
Okay.
Because he was big. Like I said, when we were grappling, he was we weren't even. Like, usually I can scramble because I'm planted in the ground, but he was, so much bigger than me. It was strange. He was just, moving me into spots. But I still felt good in the grappling exchanges. I didn't feel like I was going to get submitted. Mm-hmm. Because I can grapple. But he did feel big. He felt really big. And I think I landed some hard shots, too, that if he was not as big a man, would have hurt him.
Were you surprised you weren't able to hurt him on the feet?
No, I thought they were adding up.
Yeah.
It kind of always happens like that, It's not I don't think I'm a one punch guy. I'm a guy that as my punches land, they add up. And in the second round when you get hit with a 4-piece, you wobble.
Sure. It makes sense. Is there do you have any best memories or anything from the house from Ultimate Fighter? Man, is there anything that kind of stands out to you? Any fights that stand out? Anybody that you met?
I met all the guys were great. All these guys are awesome. Even the other team, these guys are awesome. I chatted with the guys all week, fight week, Tim Elliott and Joe Benavidez and Henry, hung out with Henry a little bit. Lou was there and Pantoja's fighting Eric Shelton soon. I saw Eric. Yeah. Adam Antolin came out and cornered me. So Adam was a guy that I met and really liked. So it's a good guy.
Yeah.
A lot of great friendships. I mean, it was a memorable time for sure.
Yeah. Anything that surprised you about anybody in the house or anybody that just stood out to you?
Everybody was so cool. I mean, Damasio was the man. Damasio Page.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
He trains out at Jackson's?
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. So what was it like, and this is something I've always been curious about. If you're fighting somebody, how long do you all have until the fight? When they announce the fight, how long do you have?
Well, I fought Tim Elliott 6 days after I fought Matt Rizzo.
Right. Do you all know right away? So you have 6 days and you got to cut weight and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's it like being in the house with somebody like that? Knowing you're going to fight somebody. What do you? I mean, as far as is there mental warfare? Is there
No. Nobody really tried to pull any bullshit. We were all real professional. Everybody there had been there and had a lot of fights and were experienced, and it was all good. It was strange, sometimes some moments were tense, but me and Tim got along. We would stay up talking to each other, leading up to the fight.
So before you all were getting ready to fight, you all would talk to each other?
Yeah.
I mean, does that... That seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, though.
Yeah. Well, how do you like if you're friends and you see him on the other side of the cage? Like, what do you think?
Oh shoot!
What
Man,
goes through
you
your
throw
head?
me $5,000, I'll go out there and punch my mom. Please.
I don't know if she wants to hear you say that. Your mom probably punch you back.
If you threw her $5,000, she'd go out there and try to whip my ass too.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we're this is for money, no hard feelings.
Right.
Let's get it done in a sensible fashion. Like, I don't want to hurt the guy. He don't want to hurt me. But let's fight.
Do you have any like ill will? Like, do you feel like you need to be angry to fight, or because some people feel like they need to be pissed off at the other person?
Absolutely not. Quite the contrary. Like, I fight really well when I'm cool.
Yeah, when you're kind of calm.
Yeah.
That's
when I can think through things and pay attention to what I'm.
All right, Matt. All right, brother, man. Thank you. I'll kind of tag you on. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate you spending some time with me, man, talking to me. I wish you best of luck. So I hope. Is there anywhere people can find you if you need, like, if they need to reach you?
Matt Danger Schnell on Facebook and at Danger_Caged on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again to UFC Flyweight Matt Danger Schnell for joining me on the podcast. And you can follow him on Instagram at Danger_Caged and also on Facebook at Matt Danger Schnell. And thank you guys again. And follow me on Twitter at Jiu-Jitsu PT, Instagram at the Jiu-Jitsu Therapist, and the website jiu-jitsutherapist.com, and also my YouTube channel to check out exercises and injury prevention tips for grappling. And thank you guys as always. We'll see you next time.